So I was talking to my dad the other week about government subsidies and corporate welfare and all that, putting grain into a ditch and burning it instead of selling it on the open market because it would drive the prices down, all of that, standard stuff. And he said something that really put me on edge unintentionally. He referred to dent corn, which is the grain form of corn, the one that is in everything. It's used to make poisonous sugar substitutes. It's 60% of a chicken nugget, corn dogs, toxic stuff. He referred to that as cattle corn. And it really set my teeth on edge because, it is cattle corn, isn't it? It's so cheap, and they put it in everything because it's for cattle. Yeah, anyway. That's what I'm going to be talking about today because it's, like I said, it's cheap. It's good. It'll fill you up. It'll keep you fed. And, the British used to make fun of the Scottish for eating oatmeal because they thought it was cattle food, or sheep food, I guess, whatever. Animal feed. But, they seem to be doing fine. Whatever. Let's go with cornmeal. Seriously, cookout.
The most basic thing you can do with cornmeal is to make polenta. Simply whisk cornmeal into boiling water at a ratio of 4 parts water to 1 part cornmeal, and then reduce the heat and cook for about half an hour, stirring frequently to keep it from burning. You're going to want to start with a whisk to ensure you don't get any clumps, but once the cornmeal is all incorporated, you'll want to switch to a wooden spoon because it will thicken considerably as it cooks. You'll know it's close to being done when you can scrape the bottom of the pan with a spoon and the polenta is too thick to fill back in. Give it a taste and make sure the individual grains are tender. Once you've reached this point, the polenta is cooked and can be eaten as is if you're going the poverty route, but most recipes call for adding at least salt and butter for taste, and maybe Parmesan cheese if you're Italian. From here, there's 2 ways to eat it, and I'm going to show you both. The first way is to eat it hot like a porridge in the same manner as oatmeal. Make it sweet with syrup and fruit, make it savory with cheese and bacon, do whatever you want, it's a blank canvas. For breakfast, I like it with butter and brown sugar, so I'm going to have some like that in a second. The second way to make polenta is to fill a loaf pan with it and let it cool into a block. Once it's solid, you can cut it into slices, sticks, or cubes and use it in place of other solid starches like pasta. I've had success warming some polenta slices and serving them under chicken parmesan, and also using them as a substitute for noodles and lasagna. But since I seem to be on a breakfast kick right now, I'm going to fry it in ghee and eat it like French toast. For this, just look for it to turn golden brown on each side and call it good. There is one more recipe I want to try, and that's cornbread. Normally I'm pretty good at making cornbread, but my circumstances dictate that I don't have an oven to bake in, so I'll have to improvise. From what I understand, you can make it on the stovetop in a skillet, and that's what I'm going to try today. Start your cornbread batter by measuring out your dry and wet ingredients separately, and then making a divot in your dry ingredients, pouring in your wet ingredients, and stirring until they're just combined. For my recipe, which I will detail in the comment section, I'm using powdered egg and powdered butter, and upping the amount of water to compensate. Don't overmix the batter or it'll come out denser than you want. Once you've mixed your batter, pour it into a greased skillet preheated on medium heat. Cover with a lid, reduce the heat to low, and cook for about half an hour. After the cornbread cooks, you'll want to flip it to brown the top. At this point you will see if you did everything correctly or if you burned it, and it looks like I burned it. To be honest, I'm not used to this electric burner yet, but I'll work on getting better at using it. Flip the cornbread onto your lid, re-grease your skillet, and fry the top for a minute to brown it up. Once it's done, flip it onto a plate and serve immediately.
Alright, now that we got a handle on polenta and a pretty good grasp on cornbread, I'm not going to count it as a complete success because I did burn it and I'm pretty critical of myself with stuff like that, but it wasn't a complete failure. We're in the right direction, and it was pretty good. Actually, the cat, I left it on the counter and the cat got a hold of it and he was fighting people for pieces of cornbread. He was screaming at them, begging them for it, which is probably the highest compliment I could get. It's all gone now. It's been eaten, so terrific. But now we've got a handle on that. I'd like to use it in future episodes and future videos, and I'm always open to ideas. If you have something you want to see me make with cornmeal, or anything really, let me know and I'll incorporate it into future videos. Because ultimately, I want to document what I do well, what I don't do well, and so I know what to do for next time, and make more videos on that. So, yeah. Anyway, that's it for cornbread. I'll see you next week. Conspiracy Cookout.